Fashion is usually treated as something very shallow, something you have a taste for or you don't. But is it? It's interesting because how deeply fashion can control your identity, behavior, how you feel about yourself. Hi, I am Aadhya, a fashion stylist and a creative director. But most importantly, I study fashion. Fashion not as inspiration or aesthetics, but fashion as a system. A system that decides our choices, identity, what feels desirable, what feels outdated, or what we call personal style. Let me start with something very familiar. At some point, we all owned a ribbed square neck top, didn't we? It does ring a bell. A white one, a beige one, a black one. All of us had one of those. Have you ever questioned how and when and where it came from? Of course, it went with jeans, trousers, cargos, but suddenly we stopped wearing it. Not because it looked bad, not because it was outdated. It just did not feel right. And guys, that is called a trend cycle. So, choosing pieces with the right intention actually matters. Take sustainability for an example. Sustainability is not a trend, it's a crisis. But fashion systems love feeding on crisis, turning it into aesthetics because it's easier to sell a look that way. Think of something as simple as wearing black. There are two different days when you are feeling upset, when you're feeling wanting to disappear, you're not feeling yourself, and you're just wearing black to be invisible and disappear from the environment. Because the intention will matter, not just how you accessorize it, how you carry it, how you style it. On the other hand, when you style a black piece of cloth on a day when you want to feel sharp, when you want to feel confident, the intention will matter, and that intention will reflect in your taste of accessories, in your taste of how you want to carry it and embody that. Clothes do not just reflect your taste, they reflect a mindset. And if you have observed, our wardrobes do look like a Pinterest board. And that's exactly how trends work. They don't just disappear, they're fully absorbed. Once everyone has an access to it, it just stops doing what trends are meant to do. Historically, clothing moved slowly. It told people who you were, where you belonged, and what role you played. And understanding that is where dressing with intention really begins. We don't follow trends because we are shallow. We follow trends because clothing has the power to make us feel relevant in places. It has the power to make us feel seen, or we can just fit in. And sometimes they just are reassuring enough. And this is where I want you to pause with me for a second. I want to just tell you that trends are not evil. You are not having a personal style just because you're influenced by internet, Pinterest, and all of these things. It's okay to take inspiration. It is okay to have that element or have that aspect of I want to try this or I want to explore this. But not all trends, of course. But if your wardrobe keeps changing and you don't feel like yourself, then that is something worth noticing. Personal style shows up in places where trends change, and in between gap of it, what do you wear? How do you feel? And how do you want to incorporate pieces that feel relevant to you but not to the world? Personal style shows up in places where you decide how you want to move through your day. You have a meeting. What are you deciding to embody that day? What are you deciding to put yourself out there as? I can say this personally. At some point or the other, I have owned a pair of square neck top. I have owned a pair of cargos. But for me, I don't ask what's trending. I don't ask how I want to look more relevant. I just simply ask how I want to move through the world today. And that shift changes everything for me. It's about how you carry yourself. Even in that square neck top and in that cargo jeans, I really was myself. It's because how I accessorized it, my intention, how I wanted to carry myself, what kind of pieces I would pair with it. That made a lot of difference. Now, some days I dress for feeling grounded, some days I want to dress for feeling feminine, and some days I dress for feeling powerful. Now, that mindset shift will change how you look at fashion, how you look at clothing, how you look at trends. From dressing for approval to dressing for alignment. And that changes everything. Here is something that you can actually do. When you're looking at yourself, leaning towards a trend, you ask yourself, is this something will I wear when nobody is wearing? Or does this something support how I feel? Or is it just making me feel current? And that's where your personal style begins. This is just a space to understand your personal style without asking what it should look like, why you wear what you wear, and how to stop confusing trends with identity. If you like fashion, art, and psychology, and thinking behind the creative choices, you're in the right place. And if this feels familiar, then we are probably thinking in the similar lines. There's more to explore here. I'll leave it there.